hello. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our channel. Welcome to our class tonight. This is Joy Agagwu, and I am the IELTS tutor who is anchoring this free IELTS class today for overseas nurses. If you are joining us for the first time, you are welcome. If you have been coming here, you are welcome again and again. I'm excited to have you around. Wow, many people. Looks like we're waiting for me to come live. And I'm sorry about the delay. I was just trying to sort a few things. Okay, so how has your week been? It's been a long week off between us. I could not come on last week because of certain things that were happening beyond my control, and I did promise that we will have a class today, and here we are. So welcome to the class this evening. It would be nice if you say something. You're online, just say something so I know that you're here. I could see that we're here, but if you do write something telling me that you're here, just say something and let me know. I'm excited because a map is one of my best, and I have tried to send them to the group so that we can have a look and see how we will go about solving it together. You are welcome. Uche, welcome. Dolapo, I can see you. Juliet, you are welcome. Yes, welcome to the class this evening. So maps. Tonight is still writing task 1, and the component we are dealing with in writing task 1 tonight is maps and floor charts. All right, floor charts or floor plans and maps. That's what we're dealing with. Both of them are likely the same, and so we will take them together. Okay, there's not much difference between those two. So writing task 1 generally in our manner as we usually do. I'll run through what writing task 1 is, and then we will quickly go back to where we are coming from. Okay? All right. So in your IELTS academic, you are expected to have writing, reading, speaking, and listening. And your writing task 1 is expecting you to solve a problem writing in an academic academic style. Okay, you are expected to write not less than 150 words, and you should complete it in 20 minutes. We do know that the writing task is divided into 2, task 1 and task 2, and both of them will last for 1 hour. They will likely give you your questions together. So task 1 is for 20 minutes, while task 2 is for 40 minutes. The task 1 is testing your ability to analyze and explain a given information that is before you. Okay, your answers are presented in your own words, and they must all be in complete sentences within paragraphs. There are various kind of questions, types of questions that you will find in your writing task 1, and we've started solving them. Today we are landing on maps and floor maps or floor charts. All right, the question types, it could be bar chart, pie chart, graphs, line graphs, floor maps, floor plans, process graphs. We could have tables as well. So we'll be discussing each and every one of them. If you do not know, we have videos on some of these in our previous classes. Actually, we have done all of this in our Zoom classes, and all of the videos are on our YouTube page. You can see them. You can just arrange them in a playlist and you get to watch all of them one after the other. But since we started this series of the live YouTube classes, I have started with writing task 2, I've dealt with writing task 2, and we've started writing task 1. So if you check in this series, the live classes, you will find what we have done so far. You can create time, okay, at your own leisure, at your own time, and then watch these videos so that you can bring yourself up to date with what we are doing. In writing task 1 generally, there's what we call the band descriptors. These band descriptors are the criteria that your examiner used to give you your band score. You know, they say we have a band 5, band 4, we have a band 6, band 7, band 8, and 9. It stops on 9. Okay, that's the highest band. And I don't mind if you score a 9 in your IELTS writing or in your IELTS generally. Okay, so the band descriptors are the criteria for your band scores, and the information that you give in each of them will determine your final score at the end of the marking. All right, so there are 4 variables that make up the band descriptors. These 4 variables are: 1, the task completion or task response or task achievement. And this task achievement or response is assessing your ability to complete a task as you are instructed. Now, following the structure, okay, and the structure for task 1 is where we have your introduction and we have the overview for your task 1. Introduction and overview. That's the structure of the writing task 1. Then the structure of the writing task 2 is different. When we get there, or when you watch the video that we have done already, you will understand it better. All right, so you following the structure, all right, following the time as well. You must finish your writing within 20 minutes. Okay, completing the summary of your key features, highlighting the key features, and writing not less than 150 words. These are the things together that make up your band, your task completion. So for me to say that you have completed your task, it means that you have written in not more than 20 minutes, you have written not less than 150 words, okay? And you have written according to the schedule, according to the description. If the task says that you should highlight and compare, all right, or highlight and contrast or whatever, it means that you have done that. Then I can conveniently say that yes, you have finished this task. The next band descriptor is coherence and cohesion. In coherence and cohesion, your ability to write in a sequential order is assessed. All right, you write from A to B to C to D. Where there is a flow within your work, there's a cohesion in what you are writing, presenting your ideas in a logical manner. Your paragraphing as well, showing a kind of a clear progression in your write-up is what your coherence and cohesion is talking about. The use of your linking devices and linking words to express accuracy in the entire write-up, beginning from the top to the bottom. All right. Then next to this, we have the lexical resource. Your lexical resource is dealing with your range of vocabularies, where you use a range of vocabularies to show precision, you know, your appropriate word formation, correct spellings, you know, you avoiding error as much as possible, the use of synonyms to explain yourself without changing the meaning, the use of verbs and adverbs and adjectives, okay, to qualify whatever you're writing. This is what your lexical resource is talking about. Generally, it is assessing your vocabularies, right? Okay, so finally, the last but not the least of these components in the band descriptor is grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy is generally talking about your grammar. It has to do with your sentence formation, where we have the simple, the compound, and the complex sentences that you arrange to make up your paragraphs. This also has to do with your punctuations, like where you were supposed to have a comma. If you have a full stop there, is an incomplete sentence. At the end of the day, you're not making sense. So your ability to write in a way that your English, that your words, your entire write-up makes sense grammatically is what grammatical range and accuracy is dealing with. So depending on the type of task that you are given, there are different languages that you will use to express your answers, okay, based on whether the task is about numbers or is about percentages or is about steps in a process or is about describing a map. And tonight we are going to be describing a map. I want you to understand, before we move further, that your task, irrespective of what type of task it is, whether it is a map or a line graph or a bar chart or a pie chart, it can either be a double or a single one. Also, it can be static or it can be changed over time. Okay, it can be static and it can be changed over time. When it is static, it's talking about a particular period of time, and when it is changed over time, when it is static, is a specific time. When it is changed over time, it's talking about a process of events that has happened over a period of time. All right, so that is what your band descriptors are talking about, and this is what the information I want to give you about writing task 1 generally. Now, talking about the structure of the writing task 1, we have different structures, okay, for task 1 and task 2. The structure for task 1 is such that it's made up of 3 paragraphs. 3 paragraphs. Any of the questions that you're writing, any of the question types, it should be 3 paragraphs. Just need to share something. Let me see. Okay. I forgot to share this somewhere. So you'll be writing 3 paragraphs in all. That is the way it should be. Okay. And these 3 paragraphs will be discussing what we will find as the information in each of this paragraph tonight, before we go to talk about our okay, so sorry. Okay, I think we are good to go. I think we are good to go. Some people are waiting to get this link, so I just need to let them know that we are online. I don't know that some of their notifications are not working, so sorry about the break. Yes, so I was talking about the structure of the writing task 1, and I did say that whatever you're writing, whatever question type you're writing, you should have 3 paragraphs. You should have 3 paragraphs. All right, and these 3 paragraphs are all what we join to say an introduction and an overview. Now, in your introduction, it is a paraphrase of the question that you have been given, a paraphrase of that question statement that you have. They say the given graph or the given map is discuss or is illustrates the changes that has occurred in whatever village between 1999 and 2000. That's your question prompt. Okay, that's your question prompt. So you are going to paraphrase that question prompt that they have given you. When you paraphrase it and you write an overall statement with it together, those two will give you your introduction. Your introduction is your question prompt paraphrase with an overall statement. The overall statement is what you can see, more like a conclusion from the beginning of your writing. Okay, you have seen that there are changes in this map. I'm using map because we are going to be discussing map tonight. You have seen that there are changes in this map. So what kind of changes can you see? The very notable ones, the ones that are really, really notable, they are notorious. You can find it, like you just look at it and you can see they are the ones you're going to be talking about in your overall statement. So you pick 1 or 2 things that has happened over this period of time or between in these 2 maps. Okay, the notable changes, maybe it's a development, maybe something was erected, maybe something was demolished. Okay, maybe there was a renovation, maybe there was a downturn or an upturn or a downsizing of some things that were in one of the maps. All right, those are the things that you will pick and you talk about as your overall statement. So that overall statement, okay, and your question prompt paraphrase using synonyms is what will give you your introduction, which will be your first paragraph in your writing task 1. I hope I'm making sense to somebody. Does it make sense? So a paraphrase of the question prompt with an overall statement makes your first paragraph. Here, you will identify your keywords. Identify your keywords, and then using synonyms for those keywords, you can go ahead to do what? To write an introduction. Then we move to the overview. Please, your introduction, that's the question prompt, paraphrase of the question prompt, and the overall statement, they are together in one paragraph. Don't separate them, because if you separate them, one, you will have 2 paragraphs, and those 2 paragraphs will be too short to make up paragraphs. So you have more like 2 incomplete paragraphs, which is not speaking well of you as a first impression as soon as your examiner starts reading. So it is better to have the 2 of them together, full stop and continue. Just after you have paraphrased your question prompt, full stop, then continue with your overall statement. Your overall statement is generally what you can notice that has happened or that has changed in this map or in this graph or in whatever question is before you. Now, the overview is where your key features are discussed in details. Okay, although the content of an overview is determined by the type of task that you are given, however, there are 2 sentences each for an overview. There are 2 sentences for an overview, irrespective of the kind of question, whether the question is a pie chart or is a bar chart or is a line graph or is a flow map or whatever it is, a process graph or even maps. Whatever it is, you are expected to come up with 2 paragraphs for your overview. All right. Now, in writing your overview, you will have to combine data. You will have to make use of certain words. That's where the main discussion is. That's where the main description is. That's where your main report is. That is your report writing. You know that task 1 is more of report writing, while task 2 is more of a composition or an essay. Okay, so your main report is where you put in all of your coercive devices, your verbs, all the adverbs and adjectives, and all the words that you need to link your sentences together in the paragraph. That's where you put in like your best. You put in your best from the beginning, but what I'm trying to say is that the body, if we talk about the body in task 2, the body in task 1 is the overview. And in that overview, you discuss everything about your question, everything about your questions. The only way you are going to have a summary, which is exceptional to some questions, is when you find out that whatever report you're writing as your overview is too small. So you put them together in one big paragraph. Then you can now have a summary, which will cover your introduction and your overview. Again, more like a repetition. And so to avoid repetition, which is not good in writing task 1, in writing generally, I am encouraging you to write 2 solid paragraphs for your overview, so that you don't have to do a summary where you're repeating yourself. Okay? Does this make sense? If you understand, I mean, it's interactive, so you can always type. You're welcome to the class if you are just joining us. It is Writing Task 1 class. Remember that this class is free of charge. The only thing you can do for me is to help me share the link with those that need it. Then subscribe to the channel so that you get notified. And then as you watch, you can share with other people so that our lives can also go ahead. If you have come into the class, it's good if you can like, so we can see your likes and your shares and all of that. That will go a long way to, tell people what we do here, even though we are not charging you. That way we are giving you the class free of charge and you are giving us likes. Okay, it's a symbiotic kind of relationship, isn't it? So if you share, it will be good. You're helping the people that need it, and in a way you are helping us to publicize. Okay, so yes, just share this link with someone. Chinwe, you are welcome to the class. Everyone that is just joining, You're welcome to the class this evening. It's a writing task 1 class, and tonight is about maps. I did send 3 maps. I sent 2 last night and I sent 1 this evening to the Telegram group. So if you're on the Telegram group, I'm sure you will have it. This thing, the reason why I'm sending them beforehand is because we are yet unable to share like we used to on Zoom. We're unable to share screen. So when I'm discussing questions, you will not see it since it is a live YouTube class. We are trying to see how we can upgrade that so that you can have everything that you need in this service that we render to you, okay? But in the meantime, let's make use of what we have. Let's improvise, all right, for your best, outcome at the end of the day. So go to the Telegram group. The questions that we'll be discussing today, they are there. I'm just giving us a preamble, and there's something for us to build on, and so that when we start discussing those questions, you will understand what we are doing. Now, I sent the maps to the Telegram group. If you don't have it already, please go to the Telegram group and download it on your phone so that while we are doing this, you can also have a look at that. You should be able to switch, okay? I'm sure there's a way you can switch between the two. So, having discussed what we need to know and do in a writing task 1, we want to write now. Okay, so what do you do when you want to write in task 1? You need to read your question and be very sure of what they're asking you to do. Now, for you to paraphrase, you need your synonyms. You need synonyms, and so you must build your vocabularies before time. And that's the reason why I said that there are synonyms that you should build vocabularies for maps before we even come to the class, because we are going to be using them. You will be writing and I will see you write as well. So you will paraphrase your key points, you will identify your keywords, read the questions, identify your keywords, okay? Identify what kind of information is required of you, what kind of task, what kind of task is before you. Tonight is going to be map before all of us, and then you identify the highlights. So the highlights are the key points, okay? They are the things that you can see. They are what you are going to be reporting on. Then you work out an overall summary mentioning your key points, and then you start your writing, okay? Write. Make sure you have some time to proofread what you have written so that you can make some little corrections like spelling errors, like your punctuations, and all those bits that are little foxes that make you to lose marks, all right? Now, we will go to our main activity for today. So where is my map? I'm going to be switching between the Telegram and the YouTube class tonight. Okay, so this evening we have a map before us, and this map is talking about 1995 and the present time. 1995 and the present time. Just before we start writing, I'll give you a brief explanation of what is expected of us when we see a map or a floor map question, floor plan. Floor maps, floor plans, or maps are generally designed to test your ability to compare information that is given to you in form of a map or a plan. Now, it requires you to use certain language, which is the vocabularies. Certain language to describe according to whatever has happened, whether according to the locations, okay, or according to the changes that has occurred in the map that you can see. So when describing a map, it's very, very appropriate for you to use the compass. When you see a map, you will see a compass. How many of us know what a compass is? If you truly don't know what a compass is, say you don't know what a compass is. If you know what a compass is, type "I know a compass." Let's see. Let me see how many people know what we are doing. Type in that you know what a compass is. Let me know so that if it needs explaining compass, I'll go back to geography class and start explaining a compass and the use of it. Do we all know what a compass is? I can't see any answer yet. I have about 14 people watching live, but no one has said anything about a compass. What is a compass? What is a compass? What is a compass? Oh, somebody, she said she knows back in secondary school. Good. What is a compass? I can see. Okay. I know a compass. I know what a compass is. I know it back in secondary school. I know a compass. Okay. I have more people knowing what compass is. All right. Oh, someone is even telling me north, west, east, and south. That's good. Okay, so it shows that we know what we are doing. I know a compass. I think it has to do with geography. Yes, Kumbi, it has to do with geography. A compass is something that we use to describe locations. And it is from there that we got the geopolitical regions in Nigeria, right? Where we have the north, south, east, and west, and some of us are from north central. Okay, so yes, a compass is used to describe location, regions, talking about regions. Yeah, the cardinal points. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Yes, the cardinal points. Okay, so usually when you have a map question, you will have a compass. It is good for you to make use of that compass to describe that map. When you have a map question and you don't find a compass, please create a compass for yourself. A compass is a tool in the map that indicates location and navigations. It has 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. Somebody is helping us to Google things. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Now I know that we know what we are describing, so that when we are talking about it, you will know. When I say describe Nigeria, the changes that has occurred in Nigeria from 1960 until now, and they will now give you a picture, and you are seeing north, south, east, and west. Okay, and there are things that are located there where we have the different maybe industries and offices, ministries, and all that, and the museums and the parks and all that are located in the different parts in that map. You will now know what is in the north, what can be located on the south, or what you will find in the east or in the west. That is exactly how you're going to be describing a map. All right, that's how you'll be describing a map. So describing a map will require you to use a compass, and when using capitalization, please do not capitalize points of a compass when describing a general location or a direction. For instance, in the north of a map is a house, you should capitalize for names only. Okay, the houses in North America, in the United Kingdom, or in Nigeria, those are the things that you should capitalize. Like you are writing Nigeria, you know that you have to write N in capital letter, isn't it? You don't write if you are describing the houses located, you don't write houses H in capital. Just write normal. All right, so you don't implicate yourself. Remember to write names of countries and names of people, but not items in capital letter. All right, start with capital letter, capitalize it. That's what it means. Now, when you don't have a compass, like I was trying to explain, when you have a question and there's no compass, you need to create the compass for yourself. If you create the compass for yourself, it will be good, and you need to get used to it. But if you think that you don't need a compass, or you cannot create a compass, you need to use this location of left, right, top, and bottom. Left, okay, this is my right and it's your left. That's why I'm doing that. So okay, let me use myself. Left, right, top, and bottom. Those 4 points, don't forget to use them. If you don't have a compass on your map, please make use of top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, top, bottom, left, and right, so that you are describing according to the location still, even though you were not given a map. So you use top, bottom, left, right. And when you do top, bottom, left, right, when something is on the bottom, on the left side, you know that it is bottom left. When it's on the right side, you know it is bottom right, then top right and top bottom. Okay, those are the things that you can use. Also, you can use the planes of the body. You know the planes of the body, when something is farther away or when something is nearer the body to the plane. When something is farther away, we did the planes of the body. I think that was like the first things that we would do in anatomy, right? In yeah, is it anatomy? Yes, in anatomy. Those should be the first things that we do, where we have medial line, the superior, inferior plane, inferior and superior plane, coronary plane, and the rest of them. So you can use that as well to describe, but don't go and use medial and superior and inferior. Just use top, bottom, left, right, top, bottom, left, bottom, right, and all of that. You're not describing anatomy. If you were describing a body, you could use all of those. Okay, Memuna, yes, there's no need for a summary in writing task 1, except if you don't have enough words. It's only when your words are short that I encourage you to write a summary, because by the structure that I am teaching, by the structure that I'm teaching you, if you get used to it, if you practice with it and you get used to it, you will have enough words to describe, so that you don't have to go and start looking for summary or to summarize. If your overview is made up of 2 paragraphs and you have the first paragraph, which is your introduction, where else do you want to add a summary? You don't need a summary. Okay, so you create for yourself the summary inside your write-up, which means that you don't need a separate summary. It's just like you are going to write and say compare and contrast, or explain, or compare and contrast. Now you are not going to say, okay, let me write first, then I'll come and another paragraph. Okay, examiner, comparison. No, as you are comparing as you go along, as you're writing. In the same way, your summary is as you go along. So you don't need to have an extra paragraph for a summary, except when you don't have enough words. It's not up to 150, 160, 170, which should be your maximum. If your words is not up to that, then you can have a summary. And when you have a summary, then all of your overview has to be 1 paragraph, so that even with the summary, you still have 3 paragraphs. I hope you will get that now, Mimuna. If you still didn't get it, please ask again. Do you mean that there's no need for a summary? That's Abiona. Yes, there's no need for a summary in task 1 if you follow the structure that we are studying in this class. If the question is given as country A instead of the name of the country, like Nigeria, yes, you can talk about country A and country B, okay? And then that means the first country and the second country, that is your synonym, all right? The initial country is your synonym for the A, okay? So prior, first, okay, those are words that you can use for when there is no name. If they are telling you about the given chart is a map of country A and country B, maybe you are comparing, or they are telling you that it is country A, the changes that has occurred in country A in 1995 and in 1990, maybe in the year 2005. You are not talking about the country, you are talking about the changes. So you don't even need to mention the country several times like you will talk about the changes that has occurred. Does it make sense to you? Yeah, well, proximal and distal, like I said, you are discussing by location. So I would prefer that you use north, south, east, and west, top, bottom, left, and right, top, left, right, bottom, left, top, right, bottom, right, and all that. By the time you use all of that, it should be enough. How many sentences are you going to write? How many sentences make up a good paragraph? At least 3 to 4 sentences should make up a good paragraph. When you join them with your cohesive devices in between, you should have very strong paragraph. So at the end, you will not, be rigmaroling, talking about one thing 100 or 1,000 times. Okay, good. It does make sense. You're welcome. All right. So we will move from there. What I was trying to explain to us is about the cardinal points. Okay, that you should use that. And when you don't have it, use top, bottom, left, and right. You are expected to describe changes that has occurred. And so when you are expected to describe changes that occur, there are specific vocabularies that you should use. For instance, if there have been some constructions and there have been some additions to things, you will be expected to use words like maybe built or erected or constructed. If there was a removal of things, maybe they demolished something, demolished is a word that you can use, replaced is a word that you can use, okay, cut down is a word that you can use, or those are phrases that you can use to describe as your vocabularies. Now, when there have been some modifications instead, like maybe there's a renovation, you can use that. It has been changed into or turned into or transformed or replaced by or changed to or converted, okay, or renovated. Those are words that you can use. If something is there and has refused, or there was no change at all, like you have a map A and a map B and it's the same area, okay, the same area map, all right, but maybe there's a school and the school in map A is still in the same place that it is in map B. It has not changed. So the location of the school does what? It remained unchanged. So it is unchanged, okay, it was in a stable position, all right, stable location. All right, those are the words that you can use. So you need to familiarize yourself with these words. And how do you do that? You have to practice. You will have to practice. Now, for you to structure a map, okay, it's dependent on whether it is a double map or a single map. If it is a single map, it's easy. If it is a double map, it's easier. So whichever map you see, it is easy. Map is actually one of the questions that has been occurring in recent times. I've seen even recent questions with maps coming in them. And this map, the one that is very, very common is where they talk about the past and the present. You know that we have maps. Let me see the different types of map questions that you can see. You can see a map of present day. You can see a map of the past and up to present day. You can see a map, the present and then the future. You can see a map of the past and the future as well. Those are the kind of maps that you can see. But recently, the questions that I have seen is talking about maps of past and present. Past and present, where you have a map of a particular place, changes that has occurred. We have a map A is 1995 and map B is 2021, or they'll just write present, like it is in one of our samples, in one of the questions that I sent. So when you have a map, the kind of question that's attached to that map determines the kind of vocabularies that you can use. So you need to practice maps, all of these map questions, so that you can familiarize yourself with it. So when you are structuring your map, whether it is a double map or a single map, whatever you are faced with, you must produce 3 paragraphs in all. But the information is what will vary. You must produce 3 paragraphs. For instance, if I have a double map, now it's easy in the sense that I can choose to talk about map A. I'll describe my map A, talking about the things located in the north, south, east, and west. Okay, talking about their sizes. Okay, then I can come to map B. That will be in my first overview paragraph, which is usually the second paragraph, because I have a first paragraph already that is constant. Introduction and overall statement gives me the first paragraph. Okay, then my second paragraph, which is my first overview paragraph, is now about my map A of 1995. Then my second overview paragraph will now be my map A of the present day. If I have one map I can decide to cut my map into two. I decide to talk about the things that I can find in the north and south in overview paragraph 1, and then the east and the west in overview paragraph 2, or north and east. I can go this way. Okay, I can go this way up and down, or I go side by side, or I go up side. Okay, you get what I mean? You can decide to talk about top and bottom, or right and left together, or top and right, then bottom and left. You get the point? So you divide it into 4 map, the way the cardinal pointer, that is our like the wind vane. You divide it into 4, that's our compass, and you pick 2 of the side to talk about first, then 2 of the side to talk about second. By the time you are finished with the description, you will find out that you have too many words sef. You don't need you don't need any summary at the end of the day. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense? Yeah. Well, if you understand what I'm saying, you can type that you understand, and I'll be more than happy to move on so that I don't waste time trying to talk about what we already understand. Now, the structure of a map. First of all, what do we do first? The number one thing you need to do when you're writing about a map is to identify your keywords and rephrase the task. Rephrase the question prompt. Since it is a floor map, okay, you will need a compass. If it is a map of a place, you will need a compass. And if there's no compass, then you can create the compass yourself. Rephrase the question prompt, then you write an overall statement. If it is double, you need to look for 2 major changes that has occurred. Maybe something reduced or increased in size massively, something that you can easily identify. Pick that up, 1 or 2 of them, and add it to your introduction. That will give you your overall statement. So that will now give you, add it to your question prompt. That will give you your introduction. All right. So generally, talk about those 2 changes or 3 massive or prominent changes that you can see. Maybe the size of something, or maybe there was a demolition of something, or maybe there was a renovation. Something was transformed and you can easily see it. We will see it in our example today. All right. Now you need to talk about the major differences between the maps. That is, if it's a double map, if you have 2 maps, talk about the major differences between the maps. All right. That will form your overall statement. But if it is a single map, point out the key differences in the 2 things that you can see. Okay. Look for a compass so that you can use it to describe. I've been saying compass. Now, for the body of your work, which is your overview, you will need to form 2 paragraphs from there. So if it is double, you can decide to talk about 1 map and then second map. If it is single, then you divide the items, the articles in it, by location or by size. It depends on what the question look like. But most probably, by location is the best way to describe it. So describe the location, divide it into 2 locations, 2 different, just pick a start point and an end point. If my start point is north, my end point may be, my midpoint will now be east or west, and then my end point will be the other side. So pick 2 sides to talk about in the first overview paragraph, pick 2 sides to talk about in the last overview paragraph. Go ahead and write your report, and then you can proofread your work. All right. So rephrase the task prompt, and you will not need any other thing to add to it when you rephrase it. Rephrase it using your own words. Ensure that you have not changed what the question is. You have used the different words to say it the same way, still making the same meaning, but you did not use the words that your examiner had used. Now we will go to the questions that I sent. All right. Okay, so in the questions I sent, if you go there, you will find a map of some changes that has occurred in a place. So let's call that place Harlow, for instance. This is Harlow. And this is a map of Harlow town. So your question, get the question now. The given diagram is a map of Harlow town in 1995 and present day. Highlight and describe the changes that have occurred over this period. I just wish I can share picture on my. Okay. All right, so we have a question on the Telegram group. We are going there to solve it. And I'm typing the question here if in case you didn't get the question. So if I give you this question, you are going to give me an introduction for this question and the picture as well. You go there, look at it, and give me an overall statement. The given diagram is a map of Harlow town. Now the question says highlight and describe the changes Who does not have access to the Telegram group here should let me know. Let me see you. If you don't have access to that question on the Telegram group, that map of the first map, I think that's the first one. Words. Who does not have access? Let me know now if you don't have access. Kumbi, you have nearly or about the structure for tax 2. This is not tax 1. Tax 1, we are discussing introduction, overview, and your overview is 2 paragraphs. So maybe I will advise that you join your body paragraphs together and just write them as paragraphs instead. I'm trying to read what you have written. All right. Write them as paragraphs instead. Write them as paragraphs instead. The link to the Telegram group, it means that you are not in the Telegram group, right? Telegram group link. Let me see if I can get the link now. And I'll send it to you. All right, so I have just sent the link to the Telegram group here now. With what I have written, the given diagram is a map of in Harlowtown in 9500. Please, can you paraphrase this using your own words, synonyms? Paraphrase it and let me see it. Paraphrase it so that we can use that question for our overall statement and continue. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I can't see anything, so go ahead and write. Write it out. Kumbi have sent the um the link and it's there. I'm sure you should have had it sorted by now. Right, let's see what we've got. Right, let's see what we have so we can move from here. Where is everybody? Okay, just need us to be on the same page. That's why. I don't know. It looks like it's not working, is it? Okay. So have we seen the question? Yeah. Have we seen the map itself? Because I can explain it. I'll just go ahead and explain it, and you can go back and have a look at it later on. So the map of Town in 1995 and the same map in the present day, let's say 2001. Now, going by the compass, by the use of compass, first of all, the first thing we said we would do when we have a map is to have a paraphrase of our question prompt. Now, the question says the given diagram is a map of Town in 1995 and present day. Highlight and describe the changes that has occurred over this period. Now, the map below or the diagram below or the map below shows the development or the changes that has taken place in Town from 1995 till 2001. Present day this year is 2001. 1995 is how many years from 2001? You can talk about the number of years, okay, that has elapsed over this period of time. You can talk about the number of years, okay, you can list the number of years, okay. So 1995 to 2020, it's about 25 years, right? So 2001 and 21 is now 26 years. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. Yes, 26 years. So this is the changes that has occurred in 26 years. You can use the number of years, okay? You can say from that time to this present time or to the years or over this period of years, over this period of 26 years. Now you are going to talk about major changes as your overall statement. We need something to add what we can see as our overall statement. If you ask me, I can see 2 or 3 things already from this. The first thing is the fact that um, there's a map, there's a compass. You can see a compass at the top. Under 1995, you can see a compass, and under present, you can see a compass. So if you check down by that compass in the southwest, okay, located on the southwest in 1995, we had shops and fish market. All right, but in the present day, the shops have been converted to restaurant, and the fish market was demolished and apartments have been built in their place. So overall, okay, in the southwest, the shops have been demolished to be built or to be changed into, or they have been turned into or transformed. I'm using the words that we are expected to use, into restaurant in the present day. While what other change again can we see? Let's look for another change. Okay, so the shop and the fish market have been transformed into restaurant and apartment respectively in the present day. Then I pick something from another side. While the what on in the east, not east rather, in the northeast, from 1995, I have farmland and forest park, but now it is a golf and a tennis court. So if I decide to choose the shop and the fish market to talk about, it's one overall statement. So I can add that as my overall statement to my paraphrased question prompt, and that will give me overall. It can be seen that shops and the fish market have been converted to restaurant and apartments. This is the changes that has occurred in the southwest. While in the northeast, I could see a conversion or a changing of the farmland and the forest park into the golf and the tennis courts. That is one. If I want to go for another change that is really, really obvious, the fact that in 1995 there was a fish port, but in the present day, the sea. So the fish port out entirely. It was taken off entirely. If it is that one I want to choose as my overall statement, is allowed. It's something that you can see. Okay. If I want to talk about maybe the buildings, if you check the housing, okay, housing was less. So overall, in the present day, there are more houses than there used to be, because more have been built. Or maybe that's not what I want to choose to talk of. Maybe I chose talk about the fact that the car park is no longer close to the hotel. There's no longer car park. Okay, in present day, there was a car park beside the hotel. Okay, in the southeast, but that's in the present day, there's now a car park in the southeast close to the hotel. Meanwhile, there was no car park there before in 1995. So these examples I'm giving us is to tell you that you can pick different things from your map, something that is really obvious, that you can see, that is prominent. Okay, something that at a first glance at this map, you can see the changes that has occurred, the changes that has happened. In terms of housing as well, there are more houses. Okay, I've talked about the house. So you can see that there is more than enough things for you to talk about here. If you want to talk about something that didn't change at all, the cafe is still in its position. It never changed. The hotel maintained its position. So overall, the hotel and the cafe, the position or the situation or the location of the hotel and the cafe in the southeast did not change. All right. Now in this one, in the present day, there's no longer forest. There's no forest at all anywhere here. We can't see any tree in the present day. So what you can see at a glance is what will make up your overall statement. So you pick it up as your overall statement, add it to your introduction, and then you have add it to your question prompt, and you have an introduction. When you want to write about your overview, you need to write about present day and 1995. So you pick 1995 map and you discuss it, and then you go to your second overview paragraph, which is your third paragraph, and you discuss about present day. How do you start it? In 1995, then talk about the cardinal points. Is it the north you want to discuss first, or the south, or the east, or the west? The items, or is it by their sizes? Okay, so how many houses? You don't have to count, but there were more houses in the present day. So now just discuss the first map as per the discussion of it. Because you are comparing the changes, is when you are now discussing the present day that you can now talk about there are more houses. The hotel now has a park. There's now a car park beside the hotel in the present day, and then the cafe's position or situation or location remain unchanged. The fishing port has been kicked out and is no longer there. There's just the sea, okay, in the south of the map, or the town, in the south of the town, in the south of Harlow Town. There's no longer forest, okay? The area for the forest has been removed entirely. There are now more houses, okay? More accommodations have been built for the people. The shops, okay, have been converted into restaurants, and the fish market has also been renovated, or it has been converted, or it has been changed into apartments for people to live in. This is your discussion of the present day, and the first one was your discussion of 1995. So in 1995, you are talking about the houses that were located on the west, in the west. You're talking about the farmland, okay, and the forest that were on the northeast, in the north and in the northeast. You're talking about the seaport, okay, the fishing port and the sea that was at this on the south, and then on the southwest we had the shops and the fish market. While in the present day, we have more houses, okay, now in the west, in the in the north, in the northwest, more of houses in the northwest, and then the east. We still have the hotel. The hotel now has a car park. In this, your discussion is now where you are comparing the changes that has happened. So you don't necessarily need to say that I am now comparing. No, in the course of the reading of your write-up, I can now see that you are comparing. Does this explanation make sense to anybody in this class? The map reviews the changes made in Harlow Town between the year this and today, okay? The diagram displayed shows a map of Harlow Town indicating changes between the years, okay, between 1995. Wow, what's happening? Let's see. How can I access the document or Telegram? Oh, are you serious that you can't access? Do you have to leave the class? I don't think you have to leave the class. I don't think you have to leave the class. I think you just have to go to Telegram. Or does it depend on the kind of phone that you use? Like my phone can split screen, and I can have Telegram, Facebook, and YouTube like on the screen, and I have and I can switch in between them. I don't know, maybe it depends on the kind of phone that you use or something. I don't know. The given map describe the changes that occurred in Harlow Town between 95 and recent times. Recent times, okay, instead of recent day. All right. Overall, it can be seen that the present day Harlow town has more modern infrastructures than the Harlow town in 1995. So what modern infrastructure? This writing is ambiguous. You have not given me any specific information. Why not say something that I can see? Infrastructure, what are the modern day, like shops? There is more restaurant. Okay, there's now a restaurant. There was no restaurant before. Are you talking about houses? So why don't you mention them? Chinwe, mention the infrastructure. Okay, is that Chinwe? Yeah, that's Chinwe. Mention the infrastructure, please. Mention what has specifically changed, because you're talking about an overall statement. All right. Oh, you have to leave the class. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know. We are trying to improve. We want to like have a long video where you don't have to break, so that we move from this to this, from that to all the question types. We hope to do something about it really soon. The lockdown is not really helping things. I am Mr. Tunde. We live like really far, world apart. So it's not okay to meet and do some of the things that we want to do. But we hope that with the new lockdown rules and all that, we'll be able to sort things out, so you can have a complete package where you don't have to, go between and things like it is. But for now, this is what we have. So you make use of it. And that's the reason why I send in the questions on time. For you to study it, you need to study it. I gave it out and I said, look for the vocabularies that we will use. Go through this map so that when we are discussing it, you will not be lost. Now, many of us are lost. When I started discussing the diagram, you couldn't see it like we used to see in the Zoom classes. But the Zoom classes have been infiltrated. So many things have gone wrong. And so we have to make use of this platform. Okay, so sorry about that. You might need to go back to the Telegram later, all right, and have a look at the question, and then you can join the two together and probably be able to get benefit from what the class is about really, or what we have done in the class. That's how I can. So with this explanation, I think we have done justice to map. Now, I have explained to us, you need an introduction, you need a first paragraph, that's a first overview paragraph and a second overview paragraph. With the introduction, we'll give you your 3 paragraphs. And because we have 2 maps here, we are discussing map by map. When you have discussed map A, by the time you get to map B, as you are describing map B, you are talking about the changes that have occurred, the size of it, or the location, the changes, the renovations. Like maybe the shops were renovated and they are now restaurant because they didn't change in size or in shape. The location is still the same, okay? But the fish market is no longer there. They have now built apartments. The cafe maintained its position. You need to mention it. Just like I was trying to tell us in your pie chart. These things are interconnected. In pie chart, you are describing highest, lowest. Okay, you are describing the things that are the same and things that are different, that are not the same, similarities and differences. So here we are describing what has changed, what did not change, what changed position, what did not change position. We are describing what has increased in size and what has reduced in size and what was lost eventually. For instance, the forest is lost. There's no forest anymore anywhere here. There are more houses. The position of some houses have changed. Okay. The farmland is no longer there. It was removed. It was kicked out or converted. So I gave us the vocabularies that we should use. You need to be serious. If it's just to come to YouTube and watch me, you may not understand everything. And because I want you to understand, that's why I give you these questions beforehand. All right. The second question now is talking about the map is showing the center of a small town called Ilip from 2010 to 2015. In 2010, the map of the town is different from what it was in 2015. So there have been some changes over this period of 5 years. And now you are going to describe this map. All right, this will be your assignment. Let me see. I'll be at work 8, half 8 tomorrow. The first, how many are we? How many people are here in this class? 9. Currently, I have 9 people watching as I'm saying this. And um, there's an assignment I want to give. Okay. The third question I sent, if you do that, I'll vet it latest by Saturday. The third question I sent, where I have two maps that show an island before and after the construction of some tourist facilities. Now the question says summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. That's a Cambridge question. I had screenshot it from a Cambridge textbook. Alright, so if you write it, I'll vet it latest by Saturday. And if you are writing, it has to be today. You must write and submit today. By tomorrow morning, if you submit anything, I'm not going to vet it. So if you are in this class, okay, or you're watching us, okay, and you send in your work before tomorrow morning, before 8:30 tomorrow morning, by God's grace, you know I'll see the time of the posting. If your work comes in before 8:30 tomorrow morning on this map, just be sure that between now and Saturday evening, I'll vet it. You are not lost, right? Just joining today, Kumbi, you are welcome. You're already on the Telegram group. So if you write between now and Saturday evening, I will vet it. If you write between now and half 8 tomorrow morning, I may start vetting from tonight if I see them and I'm not so tired. But it's a bit late now though. So if you write, I will be able to vet them. I promise this one I'll vet it. It's a promise I'm making. I'll vet between now and Saturday. And if for any reason I can't vet between now and Saturday, I'll let whoever whose own is left, I'll let the person know personally. But I hope to vet them. So write it and send it and I'll vet it. Okay? Send it to, let me see. Where is it? I need to send the email so that I'll type it and send it here. Two. Email address has been sent and I'm pinning it here. Please pin here. There it is, correct. Send it and I'll vet it. I think there are about 15 of them. I'm sorry I have so many questions, ma. I have difficulty with posting what I typed. In as much as I will like participate, it kept on telling that I have too many words. Yes, so you can write them following each other. When you type them, cut and paste, cut and paste. That's what I do as well. There's a limit to the number of words you can write in a comment on YouTube. You can't post something, and that's why I send that I email for you to type in your work. You're not giving me the work here now. You can see that I myself have to cut my words short. Yeah. If you have too many words, it cannot go through. Sorry about that. That's the way the system is, okay? I've not seen your write-up, so I cannot check it. When I see your write-up, I will check your write-up. Okay, so go to the Telegram group and do it. Do the question that is there. Is I read it out, and it's talking about there are two maps, and it says the two maps show an island before and after the construction. That's the third question. Okay, I'm going to pin it. Can I pin it? Yeah, I hope I should be able to. Pin it. Okay, so this is the task for the assignment. You'll find it now. If you go there, you find it. All right. So we have been talking about maps, and we have said that we have the structure is as the same for all other writing tasks. One, where we have 3 paragraphs. You're writing not less than 150 words, and I usually advise us not to write more than 170. Maximum you should write is 180 words, because when your words are too many, you tend to have so many errors as well. And the presence of many errors or of errors generally will reduce your band score. Avoid all of that. Please write within the word requirement, the word limit that you have been given. Okay, that's what you should write. We have been talking about maps generally, the use of compass to discuss our maps, and this has to do with discussion of location. When you are discussing the location of things on the map, please make use of maps. When there are no maps, like maybe a floor map, a floor chart, you might find out that there are no maps. Then you can use top, bottom, left and right. Top left, bottom left, um bottom right, top left. You can use those words, all right, to describe your location. If you have any questions, type them on the Telegram group and they can last. I'll see them. If you have questions and you want to type under this particular video, well, go ahead. If you are going to be watching this video later on, you are free to write your comments and I'll see them and come back to it, okay? In the absence of any other thing, I'm bringing the class to an end, and I say good evening, have a lovely night rest. Please remember to submit your work like we said. I've sent in the email and I'm sure you should have copied it by now. Good night.